Welcome to the library, book lovers. My name is Desiree. Welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new. Here at the library, we review books, we do book wrap-ups, we do vlogs, and anything else that I like to talk about. So if that interests you, grab yourself a library card by hitting that subscribe button and stick around. Do you have your tea? Are you cozy? Great, because we're going to get into my October reads. I know, we're like halfway through November, okay? But I still want to go over the books that I read in October, also some life stuff, and I want to talk about what I learned from my 1 month social media break, cleanse, detox. So October overall was like a really slow month for me. I read 3 books overall, but I enjoyed every single one of them and I took my time and I loved it. I also took a break from social media because my brain was not happy and I needed to reset. I needed to do like a factory reset, and I'm so glad I did that because I feel refreshed, I feel clear-headed, and I'm just ready to take on a lot of creative projects and really focus on work as well, because I could tell that my work performance was being affected as well. There were other factors too, but I knew social media was one thing that was contributing to my declining mental health, and so I was like, no, absolutely not. So I want to talk about what I learned from that. And also, like I said, going over the books that I read for the month, and also just the other things that I did, because taking the social media break allowed me to take things slow. And yeah, but first let's get into the books that I read. So the first book that I read was Love You to Death by Christina Dotson. So this is about 2 childhood best friends who are serial wedding crashers. Okay, they crash weddings and they steal these gifts. But one day, one of their wedding heist goes wrong and leaves a dead body in their wake. Oh, I know. Wild. So they basically have to go on the run together, and their friendship is tested. It's tested to its breaking points and beyond. This book really begs the question, how well do you know your best friend, and would you truly do anything for them? So this book was fast-paced thriller, quick read. I found myself really unable to like put it down, and honestly not even able to predict what these women would get into next. Like one thing would happen and I'm like recovering from that one thing, and then the author throws another wrench in the cog and I'm like, what, like, when does it end for these girls? Like, there were times where I audibly gasped because I was not expecting the story to go in that direction. If I had to describe this book, I would say it's like the movie One of Them Days with Keke Palmer and SZA, but with a dead body, and a lot wilder. This book shows the roller coaster that is a codependent relationship, from the gaslighting to the emotional wow, if I could speak, the emotional manipulation, and just really testing how far they will go for each other. And honestly, I don't think anyone in this story is truly innocent, from the main characters to the supporting characters. Okay, next book I read is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This is book 1 in the Broken Earth trilogy. This is actually my second read. I'm actually working on a separate project that involves the reading of this book, but you'll find out about that later, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, grab your library card. Like I was saying, this is the second time reading this book, and I had vague memories of like what was happening or what happens in this book, but as I was reading, like, they were slowly coming back, like the memories were coming back, and I was also able to pick up on a lot of foreshadowing that N.K. Jemisin does, and she does it in this beautiful way, this very seamless, that's the word I'm looking for, foreshadowing in a very seamless way that it was just as enjoyable to read it the second time as it was the first time. The 5th season follows Asun, our main character, after she comes home to find her baby son unalived in their home. She knows it's her husband and she knows why he did it. And now she's on a mission to track him down because he has also kidnapped their older daughter. But her journey won't be easy because not long before her discovery, a large rift in the earth opened up, making way for a catastrophic 5th season. Now you're probably wondering, what's a 5th season? So the 5th season, or a 5th season, is essentially like an apocalyptic event caused by some seismic, big, literally earth-shattering event, like a volcano erupting or a rift opening up in the world. So it would just cause any regular season, which has devastating consequences. Now, the strange thing about this rift is that it's a perfectly straight line, which means that it was made intentionally. Now, in the 5th season in the Broken Earth trilogy, there are people called Origins. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's how I said it in my head. Anyway, they are Origins, which are basically people who have a heightened sense of communication with the earth to the point where they can do things like move rocks or quell shakes or even cause tsunamis. Now, people in this world that N.K. Jemisin beautifully created believe that origins are very dangerous. Believe that origins are very dangerous because they are only seen as destructive and they need to be controlled. So they're actually sent to this place called the Fulcrum, which is basically a university, if you want to call it, for origins to be trained in controlling their powers. Also to note, if they make it to the Fulcrum, that means that they've successfully survived and not been killed, because most of the time, if they are discovered in the world, they are feared, like I was saying, and then some of them don't survive, as we saw with Esun's son, unfortunately. So the word fulcrum actually means the thing that plays a central or essential role in an activity, event, or situation. And I think the irony of the academy or university, whatever, being called the fulcrum is that, they train the origins to control their powers, but they also treat the origins like shit. Like, they punish them. Like, they punish them if they go out of line, or, if they use their origin powers, like, outside of what is allowed. I know I called the fulcrum like an academy, but it's essentially like a military academy. But the people essential in sustaining the earth and protecting the people on it are feared, and therefore being used and controlled. Yeah, so this book was amazing. I freaking loved it. I can't wait to finish the series. I only read the first 2. I haven't read the 3rd one, so I'm on the 2nd one for the 2nd time. But the first one was really good. The writing and the timeline, I will say, can be a bit funky, and it does take some getting used to, but overall, like, once you're in it, you're in it. In addition to her world building and just really immersing us into this society that she's created, I love the magic system that she's created. This idea that, being able to sense the earth and talk to the earth and control and manipulate some aspects of the earth in some way is really cool. I will say it was a bit confusing with, like, the technical explanation of how they use the powers, but I think that she used, like, the technicalities of it all, but she explained the after effects of how they use the powers afterwards, and so like what the powers ended up doing, and so it was kind of easy to figure out, oh, that's what they did. Oh, they, stilled the tectonic plates from moving, like, stuff like that. Another thing I think she did really well in this book is tackling grief. There's several moments where Esun becomes triggered and she just loses time. Like, she just blacks out. And I feel like that is an accurate representation, at least one part of an accurate representation of how sometimes we deal with grief or trauma by literally, like, our brain protects us by blocking out these really intense moments. And yeah, she did a great job, and I can't wait to finish the series. Last book I read is Their Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington. Okay, this book, rich people be wildin', okay? That's all I gotta say about this book. No, I have more to say. But if you've seen the movie Ready or Not, this book is kind of like that. Kind of. Like, at the core, like, at its foundation, it's like that bunch of rich people playing games on poor people. So Their Vicious Games follows our black main character, Adina, who is attending the most elite top private school on scholarship. But when something happens that causes her admission to one of her top colleges to be revoked, she must compete in a well-known but also mysterious high-stakes competition called the Finish. What is the Finish, you ask? The Finish is put on by one of the wealthiest families, the Remingtons, where 12 girls compete for the top spot to have one wish granted by the Remingtons. So, of course, Adina competes to try and get her spot back at her top college. All I have to say is, if you liked Ace of Spades by Farida Bike Amide, you would like this book. I loved it. It was wild. Another story where if you grow up in predominantly white spaces, specifically around rich people, you'd probably resonate with the main character. Or if you just grew up in a space where you felt that you don't really fit in, or you feel like you have to constantly prove yourself. I feel like you'd still resonate with multiple characters in this book. This book really tackles elitism, being Black in predominantly white spaces, and it really talks about it doesn't matter how smart you are. If you're Black in these spaces, people usually look at you sideways like you don't belong, or tell you that you have to work 10 times harder to prove yourself, and even then there's no guarantee that you'll be accepted. I not only empathized with our main character for her situation, but as we got to know the other girls in the finish, I also found myself empathizing with them, like the supporting characters, because it really shows the effects of perfectionism and elitism, and how that takes a toll on people to the point where they'll do anything, literally anything to get that top spot. This book also talks about the weight of family legacy. Like, do you continue to carry that weight, or do you unburden yourself to make a change the game? But anyway, the pacing was really good in this book, except for the middle. The middle kind of, like the middle end, kind of slowed down a little bit, but the ending picked up really quickly, and yeah, I didn't have any other issues with that. I also will never look at the game of Simon Says ever, like the same ever again after reading this book. Okay, and one more thing. If you are very knowledgeable about horses, or horse racing, or horseback riding, I'm asking you, please just suspend your belief for one portion of this book. Don't think about the technicalities of some of the things that are happening. That's all I have to say. So those are all the books I read in October, and now I want to talk about my social media break. What I did during my break, what I learned, and how I'm choosing to engage now. Okay, so why did I go off social media for a month? I kind of alluded to it in the beginning, but my brain was not happy. My brain was not happy. I was getting really depressed and really anxious. I found myself doom scrolling all the time and just chasing that dopamine, right? Through social media. I noticed my sleep habits were awful. My diet was crap. And so I was like, what? First of all, I was like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? And then I had to really do a check-in with myself and ask myself, what needs to change? And I decided, let's take a break from social media. I don't know what made me decide to do a month. It just kind of felt appropriate to do a month. I've done social media cleanses before. I think I've done like a week or two, but I don't think I've ever done a month before. And yeah, a month just felt right. So yeah, I just stopped cold turkey. I just uninstalled all the apps, and I was like, no. Aside from Facebook, I kept Facebook because I use Facebook Marketplace to buy some things. Reddit, but I'm not really on Reddit like that. YouTube, because I usually watch like commentary videos and just have it playing in the background, music and stuff like that. What else? Did I keep anything else? No, I think that's it. Those are the only 3 that I kept. One thing I realized with all these like apps and socials and stuff like that is there's so many avenues of information that just became overwhelming. Like, we're not built to receive this information and media in the way that we do. Okay, think about it. When you take a bite of something, you chew it. You don't usually swallow it whole. Like, that hurts. Okay, we gotta chew it, we gotta break down the food, and then we swallow it. But interacting with social media is like taking a bite of something, swallowing it whole, and then taking a bite of something else and swallowing it. Like, you haven't even had time to digest that first bite. It just keeps on going until you're full, and then your tummy hurts. That's what it feels like to just get an influx of information. And I felt myself not filtering the food that I was eating, essentially. So what did I even do for a month without social media? What did I do with myself? Did I just sit in a corner and just stare at a wall? No, I didn't. I actually did some cool stuff. I did some fun things, some refreshing things. I hung out with my partner. I hung out with my family. I went backpacking for the first time. That was amazing. Oh my gosh. Being in nature is such a reset that sometimes I want to cry. But yeah, just being in nature is such a reset and a breath of fresh air, and just really slowing down and connecting with myself and the things around me and appreciating the beauty that is the world that we live in. The good, bad, the ugly, all of it. Also, my partner and I are watching Merlin. I love that show. I have vague memories of it when I was in high school, like hearing about it. I think I maybe watched like an episode or 2, but I never really got into it. Ever since Legendborn came out, I've had this interest in like Arthurian legend, and I remember hearing about Merlin. My partner was like, yeah, let's go, let's watch it, and we're on the 5th season. I don't want it to end. It's so good. Ooh, some other things that I did was draw. I really felt like I was able to be more creative during this break. I got a lot of ideas with YouTube, and I decided to take like this YouTube thing like more seriously, just being more like in tune with myself. I was able to be more creative. I also drew. I'm gonna show you some of my drawings. Okay, so if anyone's familiar with the show Smiling Friends, this is the character Gleb. He's one of my favorites. He doesn't do much, but I think that's why I love him. This is Gleb. Isn't he so cute? I drew that. So cool. I also drew and watercolored this one. This was a long time ago. This wasn't during my monthly break, but I just wanted to show y'all because it's cute. So cute. What's next? Oh, I drew this one for Halloween. This one's Halloween inspired. It's just a little ghosty reading. He's so cute. I don't know what to do in the background. I've asked for a few suggestions. Some people said a haunted house. Some people said a library. I don't know yet. I haven't found what I'm gonna do, but it'll come to me. Okay, the last one I did is another character from Smiling Friends. His name is Pim. Now, I'm gonna put a reference picture of what Pim's supposed to look like, okay? This is what my Pim looks like. He's a little bit more wider, and that's okay. That's okay. I also haven't colored him in yet, because I haven't found the right shade of purple. But, yeah, that's some of the drawings that I did and some art that I worked on. Okay, so what did I even learn from all of this? I'll be honest. In the beginning, it was difficult. I found myself reaching for my phone and swiping for the apps that I usually go to. And trying to figure out how to fill the space and fill the silence was hard. But I realized that I don't always need to fill the silence. Sometimes sitting in silence is doing, and just being is doing. And so I did that. But in the moments where I found myself reaching for Instagram, TikTok, all that, I asked myself, why? What are you feeling? What is going through your head? Do a body check. What are you needing in this moment? And what's an alternative? Do we need to take a walk? Or do we need to stretch? Do we want to read? Do we want to watch a comfort show? Do you need to drink water? Like, something as simple as you need to drink water or have a snack is sometimes the reason why I find myself reaching for social media. I think the biggest thing that I learned from this is learning to set boundaries, more firm boundaries, like firm boundaries with myself and with other people, and really learning how to communicate with your body and letting your body communicate to you and listening. And that takes time. Like, it really does take time to understand and be in tune with yourself, especially if we're constantly inundated with information and things to do and life, right? Life exists. Life isn't going to stop just because we're tired or overwhelmed, and we have to find these moments of care. And resting is not a sign of weakness. Resting, if anything, is a sign of strength and understanding that this is what I need in this moment. So how am I going to engage with socials now that I'm back? I'm still figuring that out. I don't have a plan. I remember when I first first of all, when the month was up, October 31st, it didn't even cross my mind to re-download. I was like, I think it was like November 2nd or 3rd, where I was like, oh, I did say I'd be off socials for a month, but this is actually quite nice not having to be on it, or just being on it in general. So I actually waited a few days until I reinstalled it. But ever since I've been back, I've really been checking in with myself. And when I engage with, say for example, TikTok, I find myself, I found myself like scrolling through each one and just really gauging like how I'm feeling, or how is this content making me feel? Do I need this right now? Is this too much? XYZ, all that. And like I said, that the month break has really helped me connect with my body, and sometimes I'll be on TikTok for 2 minutes and then I'm exiting because I'm like, that's enough for today. Another thing I did was not have the apps on my home screen or anywhere that is readily accessible for me. So I actually have to like go in and type it in and find it if I want to go on these apps, which adds a little bit of a barrier for me. Speaking of barriers, I do want to invest in the brick. My friend told me that she uses it to basically like lock her phone and she can't access like her apps. Like, it's better than putting just a generic like time limit on your phone. Like, with the time limit on my phone, I was bypassing it all the time. So that wasn't working. So maybe the brick will help. I don't know. I am thinking about doing another month off That would be nice. I don't know when, but maybe once a quarter. I can just do a month off of social media. That'd be awesome. Well, thank you all for chatting with me and hearing all about my month of October. Let me know what you read in October, what you did in October, how your Halloween was if you celebrate Halloween. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, week, month, life. Don't forget to grab yourself a library card by hitting that subscribe button on your way out. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!